Let's go! Welcome to episode 4 of Ball Talk with Paul. Of course, I'm your host, Paul. And this week, man, we got a whole lot for you guys. We got week 1 action in the NFL. We're going to be talking about my college predictions from last week, man. See where I went wrong. Also, we got a little bit of tennis this week, man. We're going to be talking some matchups with tennis. And then I got to go again with this Jalen Hurts disrespect, man. We got to talk about it one more time. So let's get right into it, guys. First things first, you know we got to talk about this matchup between those Philadelphia Eagles and those Dallas Cowgirls, man. They're coming to Philly tonight. So, of course, you know I'm rocking with my birds because I just think we have the better overall team, man. My offense is stacked. I got Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith with that O-line, and Dallas Goedert. Then on the defensive side, my front seven is just too loaded with Jalen Carter, Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis. We're ready for whatever, man. And my secondary, yeah, they may be young, but we ready. We got Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and then we're gonna be introducing some guys, Sidney Brown, Andrew McCouber. So just be on the lookout for those guys, because we're gonna be locked in and loaded tonight for sure. And not to mention, we dropping that 2025 championship banner on your head tonight, Mr. Jerry Jones. So it's going to be a live action-packed movie tonight for sure. And not to mention, those Cowgirls, they just got rid of Michael Parsons, their best player arguably on the team. And just to trade away your best player and for you to think everything's going to be okay, nah, play. It doesn't work like that, man. I don't think the Cowboys will be as motivated as they were with Micah as without him. So I think with a demoralized Cowboys and that super motivated Eagles trying to run it back, we're gonna put that BTA tonight. I got my guys winning at least 35-14 because we just locked in on another level. All my guys are talking about, that Super Bowls in the past, what you want, because we want guys that's gonna look to the future, not dwell in the past. So be on the lookout in Philly tonight because we getting active tonight. Now, another primetime matchup for week 1. We got those Kansas City Chiefs going to L.A. to see those Chargers, man. Now, this matchup will be interesting, but I do have those Kansas City Chiefs coming on top. I'm just not a firm believer in Justin Herbert, man. He's just a regular season merchant. All he can do is make nice passes, but he can't make those clutch plays when you need it the most. And that is what Patrick Mahomes is, just a clutch player who you can rely on in any situation, man. And I believe him, along with Andy Reid, the greatest mind in the NFL right now, they're just hard to beat in the beginning of the season, especially. And not to mention the Chargers, they don't have much wide receiver help. Yeah, they got Lad McConkey. He's a solid option, but I don't think he's a solid number 1. And also they brought back an older Keenan Allen, which is okay for for the development, but I don't think he's going to move any needle at all. And also, the Chargers defense is just overrated and overpaid, in my opinion. Derwin James, he's nice, but he can't do it by himself. And Khalil Mack, he's up there in age as well, and his good years are behind him. So I got those Chiefs winning, man. It's going to be a close ball game. I got the game going at least 28-21, but I got those Kansas City Chiefs coming out on top. All right, moving on to Sunday's action for week 1. We got those Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus those Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Falcons are at home, so I got to give them an edge in week 1, man, because usually the home team wins in week 1, and I just think they're a better and more improved team this year. With Michael Penix under center, I think Atlanta is much better because Kirk Cousins was like a statue back there. Penix can at least mobilize himself and move when he needs to. Now, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I do like what they have offensively. Mike Evans, Bucky Irvin, Baker Mayfield. But they are missing Chris Godwin. I think that will hurt them in the beginning of the season because he was a reliable target for Baker at times. But I think this game will be close and come down to the wire because usually these NFC South matchups do. But I have the Atlanta Falcons coming out on top, 24-21. So stay tuned for this game. It should be a great one, but I have those Falcons winning their week 1. Now, the next matchup I want to talk about for Sunday is those Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New York Jets. This is definitely an interesting matchup because these two quarterbacks essentially swap teams. Justin Fields was on the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, and Aaron Rodgers was on the New York Jets. Now, I think both teams will benefit from both of these quarterbacks on their roster, but I don't know if they'll take them to the promised land, but we shall see. But for my winner for this game, I had those Pittsburgh Steelers, man. It's just hard to beat Mike Tomlin and that culture with that defense that he's built. And they just added Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, and they just still have TJ Watt, Cam Hayward. It's going to be tough for Justin Fields to get anything going with the run because I know Pittsburgh loves to stop that run. Plus, the Jets really don't have too many wide receivers. Outside of Garrett Wilson, it's not much to work with there. And we know Justin Fields has some issues throwing downfield sometimes. But I don't know if his legs will be able to save him in this matchup because this Pittsburgh would definitely be locked in on that as well because I'm sure they have plenty of film on him. So with this matchup, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning, I would say a solid 28-17. It's going to be interesting, but those Pittsburgh Steelers should come out on top and make themselves known that they're trying to make a run for that Super Bowl. All right, another NFC East matchup. We have those Washington Commanders versus those New York Giants. This is definitely going to be a good matchup to see. These teams definitely play each other close. I think with this matchup, a lot of people are expecting the Commanders just to wipe the floor with the Giants, but I say not so fast because those Giants defense is pretty locked in, man. I think they got some guys that is going to cause some disruptions for Jaden Daniels. Brian Byrne, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, and their young rookie Abdul Carter is going to cause havoc in that backfield when Jaden's trying to pass. So it's going to be hard for him to really see his wide receivers if he has guys in his face. And not to mention, he hasn't had many reps with his best wide receiver. Terry McLaurin had that contract dispute. They finally got it figured out, but it was a week before the season started. And we all know you need reps to be effective in this league. So we shall see. And not to mention, I'm not sure if Debo will be able to carry a lot of the load either. But I do have the Giants coming out on top of this matchup in a underdog defeat. I have them winning this game 24-21. It's going to be a nail biter down to the wire. But I think with Russell Wilson under center, and not to mention Russell Wilson has never played with a wide receiver talent such as Malik Neighbors, I think this Giants team will be very underrated and slept on. But they will definitely wake some people up with this Week 1 win against the Commanders. Another heavy-hitting matchup we got to talk about is these Detroit Lions against those Green Bay Packers, man. Big division rivalry up there in the NFC North. For this one, I think the Packers have the slight edge, especially with the new acquisition of Micah Parsons. That was a piece they were definitely missing, man. Somebody who can go get a sack whenever you need a sack. And the Lions quarterback, Jared Gauff, he's not that mobile. And with him losing Ben Johnson, a guy that really knew how to scheme for that team and get people open, things of that nature, I don't know how crisp and clean they will look in Week 1. And we all know when you get new coordinators, it's not going to be the same as last year. But I think it will be a close and high-scoring game. I think both teams will move the ball effectively and get things done how they want. But I got those Packers winning, man. And in a high ball game, I got them winning 35-28. So hopefully those Packers win this game and keep that momentum going because I believe with the talent they have, they should win this NFC North. All right, for the last matchup of Sunday night, we got the primetime Baltimore Ravens versus the Buffalo Bills. This matchup is going to be a hard-hitting heavyweight matchup, man. Two of the last MVPs going at it face-to-face. But my prediction for this game, I think Baltimore will come out on top because they just lost to Buffalo in the playoffs last year, and they still had that sour taste in their mouth, and they're trying to get that out of them. Now, Baltimore just added Mr. Jair Alexander from the Green Bay Packers, and Buffalo just added Joey Bosa from the Los Angeles Chargers. So they both added some star power on their defense, but I just think Baltimore Ravens have the better overall roster. They are loaded at every position, and they should be able to win this game in a decent fashion. Josh Allen, you can never count him out, but I just don't see his wide receivers coming in the clutch against this secondary when he needs them to, and I don't think he can run all over Baltimore like that. So with that being said, I have this game as a 28-21 matchup because both teams have solid offenses and defense, but I have those Ravens coming out on top. And hopefully we can see that the Ravens will be making a statement this year so they can take their team to the next level. All right, so now let's move on to college football and how my Week 1 predictions went. Not a lot of teams lived up to the expectations I had for them. Starting off with Texas, man, and Mr. Arch Manning. He did not look very comfortable at all in that offense. I'm not sure if his coach set him up for success, but it looks like they were asking him to do a lot in the beginning of the season against a very stout Ohio State defense. Sometimes you just have to take the easy routes, and Mr. Arch Manning just did not do that, unfortunately. He looked like he was thrown off his back foot, missing wide open receivers. Just not something you want to see from supposedly a franchise quarterback, right? But I do think Texas will bounce back from that loss because they are still very talented. But that is not a good look. And hopefully they will right the ship, because if you lose one or two more, there's no championship hopes for you. So hopefully Texas will bounce back next week. Now let's talk about another team I predicted to win. We had those Clemson Tigers over the LSU Tigers, and I was terribly wrong about that one, man. Cade Klubnik, he did not look the best last week. He was also looking very rattled, especially after Antonio Williams got hurt early. He just didn't know where to go with the ball. He wasn't comfortable with his receivers. The ground game was not going for those guys. So it was tough to see, man. And I just didn't expect LSU to be that good well, I'm not going to say this year, but I didn't expect them to be that good this early. Their quarterback looked great. Brian Kelly made some good decisions, which he's accustomed not to doing. So I have to tip my hat to LSU. They really showed me that they're a serious contender this year. So hopefully they keep that up and Clemson will bounce back, but we shall see. The season is still early. Now, moving on to those South Carolina Gamecocks. They came to play against those Virginia Tech Hokies. And Mr. Lenore Sellers, he looked like he was a man on a mission last week. He was doing it all. He was running people over, throwing the long ball. Just looked like a very poised and polished quarterback. I think South Carolina has something special with that guy because he is one of those ones. Not to mention Mr. Nick Harbor. He looked great as well. He finally caught him a deep ball over the top. He's showing that off that track 10 speed. I think it can only get better for him because he just has all the tools to be a good or great wide receiver. So look out for South Carolina continue to uprise. And also they have a defensive end, Mr. Dylan Stewart. That guy is just a wrecking ball. He can rush the passer, attack the ground game. He does it all as a defense end. And if he continues to play like that, his stock is just going to continue to rise and rise, man. So look out for those South Carolina Gamecocks to really make some noise in the SEC this year because they are locked and they are loaded. Now, the last prediction I made, which I feel oh so great about now, I had those Miami Hurricanes over the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And man, oh man, was I right. Until late in the game, it looked like it was going to be a blowout, man. My Hurricanes, we looked very, very solid on both ends of the ball. Mr. Carson Beck, he looks comfortable behind that stout offensive line, comfortable with his receivers. Just looks like he's right at home, man. I don't think Georgia fed into his needs and wants like we are. And I think, right place and right time is right for Mr. Beck because he just looks right at home. And for my defense, we look completely different under our new coordinator, man. That guy had our guys flying to the ball. Our secondary looks much, much better. So I like everything that we did, man. We put on the show against Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame, they did look good later in the game, but early on, they just couldn't get it going. They stopped giving the ball to Jeremiah Love early, which not too many people understand because that is one of the best running backs in the nation. But I think they will bounce back because their coach, he knows what he's doing, but they just have to get their game plan together. And I think they underestimated our team a little bit. But it's okay because those Hurricanes, we back, baby. I think we're going to make some real noise in the ACC, hopefully win it, and make some noise in the college football players. So stay tuned to us because we already coming. Now, the two biggest disappointments I think last week showed was one, we had Alabama losing to an unranked Florida State. The first time that's ever happened since 2001. I think their coach, he is on the hot seat, man, because people in Alabama take football very seriously. And I know they're blowing up the school board like, fire this guy right now. But I say don't hit the panic button yet because I think Florida State is just underestimated. They made a lot of changes as well, and they're back. Looks like they're trying to be competitive in the ACC again. So that's good for them. But Alabama, I wouldn't give up on them quite yet. Ryan Williams got a little nicked up too, and they just couldn't get anything going. And I think their running back was not healthy to play that game. Their starting running back, I should say. So Give them a couple more weeks and we really see who the real Alabama is. But it does not look good for them right now. But if I know an Alabama culture, they'll get back. But if they don't get it right, I'm sure they'll be calling Nick Saban Shun. And the last team that everybody was talking about last year that kind of underperformed and still kind of underperformed this year is those Colorado Buffaloes, led by Mr. Deion Primetime Sanders, man. They were expected to beat a Georgia Tech team, which I thought was kind of crazy because Georgia Tech is not that bad of a team. And they had the opportunity to win, but the time was mismanaged by Coach Prime. I don't know why he didn't want to call a timeout under 2 minutes and you had 2 left. You can't just leave the game without calling a timeout. It's not a good look. You have to be able to manage a clock well as a coach, and Prime didn't do that. But it's not all on Prime. His players didn't help him out. His quarterback was missing some throws, missing some reads sometimes. But it's week 1. It's still early. I don't know if the Buffaloes will do much this year because they just don't have the talent that they had last year. But I think they still will be competitive under Prime. He just has to light that fire under them, which I think he will do in the long run. All right, so switching gears to tennis, we're going to be talking about Naomi Osaka versus Coco Gauff, a matchup that the culture we just love to see, man. 2 black young women just going at it at the highest level on tennis. We love to see that, man. But somebody has to lose, unfortunately, and unfortunately, Miss Coco Gauff, she lost to Naomi in 2 sets, 6-3 and 6-2. Now, Naomi, she is a true leader, a true competitor because she didn't bash Coco. She didn't talk bad about her. She uplifts her even in defeat. And that's what you want to see from anybody, right? You want to see people that's uplifting their competitors, whether they win or they lose. And Coco, she's still young. She's still learning. She has a lot of room to grow. She came into the league at 15 years old, and everybody just crowned her to be the next Serena, which is now we're seeing this is totally tough to do because Serena was just a complete different animal. But Coco is still going to get her shine. She is still doing great for her career. Naomi is just more of an advanced competitor. And I think she will take this U.S. Open. She just went to the semifinal. So hopefully she will win that and advance to the finals and take this thing home because Naomi Osaka is one of the most underrated and unappreciated athletes in today's game. So I hope she continues to rise and win what she deserves. Now, for this last topic, I tried to ignore it, but this guy continuously brings up and bashes my quarterback. Mr. Cam Newton still hating on Jalen Hurts, saying that he still has a lot to prove as a quarterback in the league. Mr. Cam, please stop this hate and disrespect because it is just not true. You comparing Jalen to Nick Foles when Nick Foles has never been to 2 Super Bowls. He's only been to 1, and he wasn't even a quarterback the whole season. Not to mention, Nick Foles has never been an All-Pro, and he has never been in the MVP discussion. So we have to stop comparing apples to oranges because Jalen is not one of those, he just made it by coincidence quarterbacks. He's not. And Stephen A. Smith even said it on the show that resume matters at some point. And Jalen Hurts' resume is unmatched compared to most quarterbacks in this league. The only quarterback you could probably say has a better resume is Patrick Mahomes, maybe Josh Allen or Lamar, and that is it. Everybody else is under Jalen Hurts, and you cannot deny those facts. Now, Jalen cannot help that his GM knows how to put a team around him. It is not our fault that the Giants did not know how to treat Saquon Barkley, and he saw a great situation with us and wanted to come over. It's just not, Cam. So please stop bashing my quarterback for having the weapons and for bringing people in and people wanting to actually play with him. As for you, you were just a running quarterback. You weren't really known for your downfield accuracy, the over-the-top accuracy. Yeah, you can do it, but you would love to run people over, run through people, and carry people on your back like you were quote-unquote Superman. But what you found out clearly that you were not because your career started up here and then it started going slowly downhill once you start getting hurt. Jalen started down here, but he had done nothing but ascend, not descend. So you cannot knock my quarterback because his path is a little bit different than yours. Yes, he has all the help that he needs, but he won with all the help that he needs, which a lot of quarterbacks have not done, i.e. Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. So please stop this bashing of Jalen Hurts because You do not like the fact that he has everything and he has done everything that you have not, Mr. Cam Newton. All right, guys, so that's episode 4 of Ball Talk with Paul. I appreciate you guys rocking with your boy. Please make sure you like, share, comment your week 1 predictions for this upcoming NFL. And also make sure you subscribe so you can still rock with your boy every week. I appreciate all the love. Ball Talk out.